Welcome to Prime Life. We call it Retirement 2.0. Leave each episode with tips and new ideas to help you navigate retirement in our new age. It's your time. Make it count.
This podcast is for educational purposes only. It is not intended as medical, investment, or financial advice. We do not sponsor or endorse any of the individuals, companies, products, or services featured on this podcast. Any statements or opinions expressed are of the individual who makes them. We hope you enjoy the episode.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Prime Life Podcast. I'm Mary Crean, and I'm here with Joseph Katz.
Mary, good to be here. Always a pleasure to see you.
Same here.
I know we see each other. Most people are listening, so
We do. We see each other. But we've only seen each other in person. How many times?
less than 5, I believe.
Yes, just a couple, interestingly enough. But we have to work on that at some point. So we're not across the universe. But
we're close enough that we should be getting together more frequently.
We should, because we do have a lot in common and we enjoy each other's company. So I'm so fortunate. But I hear we have a guest, and she's very wonderful. So Joseph, I'm going to kick it off to you so
Excellent.
you can introduce.
Thank you, Mary. So welcome Kerry Burrows to the show. Kerry is a certified health and life coach, midlife mentor and motivator, and the founder of KB Consulting with a degree in biology and applied health and over 2 decades of experience in healthcare, wellness, education, and marketing. That's going to be fun to talk about. Kerry is passionate about helping midlife women reclaim their energy, strength, and vitality during life's most transformative chapters. There's a lot more to your intro, Kerry, so I'm going to hand it off to you to tell us and our audience a little bit more about yourself, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Thank Mary for inviting me to speak today to your audience, because it really is important. I do speak a lot about menopause, and I love that menopause is having a moment right now. But for me, my story, I've always loved science, nutrition, healthy eating, cooking. It was inspired by both of my grandparents, who were farmers, and taught me about gathering the vegetables and making healthy food, making healthy choices. Both of my grandfathers passed away at a younger age due to things that were genetically in their families. But both of my grandmothers lived to 94, and they both were very active and just instilled into me taking care of myself, body, mind, and joy. Like they lived that lifestyle. So I wanted to kind of replicate that for myself. I've really always enjoyed science since a young age. That's the thing that I kind of went to, and went to college, and I started actually pre-vet, because I thought I wanted to save every animal that there was. I was an animal person, and I'm going to help every single animal that there is. And I found out that really wasn't my calling. And I actually went more towards human health. And I loved everything that ended in ology. And really that kind of catapulted me into that for helping others, but then also helping myself. When I went through my own health issues, and I was going to doctors, like 3 doctors, and nobody diagnosed or even said the word perimenopause, and they just wanted to give me drugs. And that's not what I wanted. And I did my own research, found my own recipe, and healed myself to be healthy, vibrant, and get over the symptoms. And I felt I was going crazy, thought I was alone. Nobody was talking about it. And so I decided to become a health and life coach and to switch that script.
A lot of good stuff there. We actually did an episode, I don't remember exactly when it was, on menopause. And so we touched on some of these topics, but you brought up some other things, which I want to just touch on for a second. And in preparation for the show, I guess, the idea, because you came across a lot of positivity coming across the airwaves right now. So pro-living, anti-aging, like
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about that. I think that in some of the preparation for the show, I was looking at some information about that. And just as for the record, you like the ologies. I was a big fan of chemistry, so yeah,
Yeah,
it's
a lot of
it's all
times
good
that's
stuff.
the case.
It's all good
So
stuff.
so as we are aging, right, it ends up being everything. Like if you go for a woman, we go to the beauty counter, everything is anti-aging, anti-aging. Everything about food, everything about our exercise is anti-aging. And I started saying, I kept on feeling like I'm the victim and it's a negative thing. And I said, my mindset, how can I myself flip this and then flip it for my clients? And so it was more of how can we be pro living? How can we find those healthy habits? How can we find those things that bring us joy, that make us feel purposeful? Set them as intentions into our daily lives so then we can step forward in our own power, and then we can then have more impact to our family, to our careers, to our coworkers who we're leading, to our communities, because now we've flipped that script about, instead of feeling so negative and dread about aging, no, we're flipping that. What's possible? What is our potential? What is something maybe we haven't explored or discovered yet? Getting more curious. And then again, being more serious about investing in our mind, body, and heart. I really flipped that script for myself, and it's so empowering. And I find that I can now motivate and help other people in that same way. With education, I really work with clients with transformational habit change because, right, we're used to doing something a certain way for all these years. It's not working anymore, so we get frustrated, and then we don't want to try. So trying to break those cycles and helping them develop new healthy habits, and then they blossom. And then lots of things are possible. So flipping that script, but helping also, right, our children understand that we're pro living, helping our workforce know that we're pro living, and that we still have a lot to offer.
Yeah. No, I love that, Kerry. And I can attest to what you were saying about, the anti-aging. I know I put stuff on my face and all of that. And I've been a lifelong, and those our listeners that have been, keeping track of our podcasts know that I started my career in health and wellness space. So I am passionate as well as you are. But I would love for you to tell our listeners, what are some of those daily habits that you recommend for people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and above that really you believe will help all of us feel more alive and more empowered and just not feeling like it's anti-aging?
So for me, I always recommend my clients to start with a consistent, powerful, positive morning routine. And it does not have to take an hour. It can literally take 5 to 6 minutes. So myself, I started using the Miracle Morning Lifesavers. Um, that was brought to my attention during COVID, actually. I knew about it, but I didn't really put it into practice. And I really felt that shift for myself when I gave back to myself just that 5 to 10 minutes in the morning. So the lifesavers, which is the savers, are silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. And it can look different every day. Sometimes I will set it up where I'm doing more than one, like I'm brushing my teeth, but I'm also doing my affirmation because I'm looking at an affirmation I put up. It could be that while I am journaling and I'm writing my gratitude and my intentions for the day, I'm also maybe listening to a guided meditation or something that's positive for myself. I will try to move my body in some way, shape, or form in that morning time frame. And then also I want to give back to myself in a positive way and kind of start in that self-love and, maybe lifting myself up, celebrating something that is working well for me. And how can I put that intention into my day today? So starting in the morning, and then also, right, meal. I try to get my clients to meal prep because, right, we're so busy. You're going to your job. You might be then a lot of women or people in this age, they're in the sandwich generation. So they're still raising kids or teenagers or whatever, and they're still going to the games. They're still going to these things, but then also they may be also caring for an aging parent. So then their self-care, their nutrition is going on the wayside. So they are stopping at the fast food places. So doing some meal prep so that you have some snacks with you that are always available. Thinking about what you're going to set yourself up so that you're meeting that macro. And that's something that you enjoy also. I don't want people to be eating things that they can't stand that taste like cardboard. It's not sustainable. So finding things that you can meal prep. And then my grandmother, like I was just talking about, she always said, if you rest, you rust. And that always stuck with me. So finding some way to incorporate like some bigger movement. So, and again, I'm always into multitasking. So I might put on my weighted vest. I might be going for a walk. But while I'm going for a walk, I might be talking to my aging parent. How are you doing? Or a girlfriend. Because we need, or a friend, we need to have those social connections because loneliness gets really big in our midlife years because we're empty nesting. Some people are leaving their corporate job. Many people are getting divorced. And so that circle of friends that they had is disappearing. So making sure that you're having social connection. And then I want to say also our nighttime routine and getting good restful sleep. So vital. So setting up yourself to wind down, get away from the screens, making sure you have a cool, dark bedroom, maybe taking a sleepy tea and winding down so that you get that good restorative sleep.
Sleep eludes me. That's my biggest challenge.
Oh.
As you were describing the sandwich generation, I realized there's actually, at least in my life, another generation, which I'm gonna name it right now. I'm gonna call it the stacked generation because I'm actually right now have grandchildren living in my house, and so we're helping with the grandchildren. So there's grandchildren, children, and parents, grandparents. So yes, I think it still applies, but it's just fun to think about it that way. So when you were talking earlier about the anti-aging, you were talking about becoming more curious, investing in mind, body, and soul. You sort of just described a little bit of that. But how do you flip the switch? Like, how does someone stop what they're doing, break that routine, and do that? That's obviously a challenge. And that probably is a good segue into helping our listeners understand how you work with people. So maybe touch on both if you would.
And we'll get that answer after a brief word from our commercial sponsors.
NASA is always working harder to be your carrier of choice. We offer insurance products that can help you meet your retirement goals, such as protecting your savings, securing lifetime income, or paying for healthcare costs. We're dedicated to providing best-in-class service and are keeping things simple, and we'll have your back. We have around 400,000 policyholders and contract holders and have been doing this for a long time, 170 years, but we remain humble enough to always try to improve. For more information, visit nfg.com. Nassau insurance products are issued by Nassau Life and Annuity Company of Hartford, Connecticut, Nassau Life Insurance Company, East Greenbush, New York, or Nassau Life Insurance Company of Kansas, Overland Park, Kansas. Subsidiaries of Nassau Financial Group. Products are not available in all areas. Policyholder counts are for all Nassau companies as of September 30th, 2022, and are subject to change.
So one of the things I always say to my clients is, what is something that you did when you were younger that brought you joy, that you were curious about? Whether it was playing an instrument, maybe it was theater, maybe it was gardening, maybe it was some kind of visual art. I really loved making pottery. Maybe it was that it was something physical, like I was really good at swimming or biking or a marathon or whatever it is. What is something that really lit you up when you were younger? And then is there a way to bring that back into your life? It doesn't have to look the same, but can you get curious? And can you even just look at your local community? A lot of times there's a class that's happening at maybe through your library or through your rec department that you can just go explore. Let's just at least go make the phone call or look, when is the class? Can it fit into your schedule? Can you bring a friend with you? Because if maybe you're a little nervous about trying something new or going to a class, and just being curious, and that you're not just stuck in that. And a lot of times people will find that thing that lit them up, and they can find a way to put it back into their life. Just brings out joy. And when you bring back in joy in your life, it releases the cortisol. It helps the oxytocin, helps all those positive chemicals, and those just spill over into the other parts of your life. So I guess, incorporating something that brings you joy.
No, I think that's great advice. Joseph, I know you're the only guy here right now.
How'd you pick that detail up?
So I don't want it to be exclusionary to you, but I want to flip it a little bit back to the menopause conversation. And the reason I'm flipping it there is because, Kerry, I'd like to hear from you why you believe that menopause should be treated more as a major life transition, not a brief event. And then there's a second part to that question, because we have Joseph here with us, and for other listeners who are our male listeners, how can they be supportive perhaps, or what does that mean for them? Because look, right, Joseph, you just described even your family who's living under the roof. We all have partners, spouses, whatever. So I would love to hear your take on that, Kerry.
Oh, thank you. Great question. Well, think about this. Every woman is going to experience menopause. Every single one. Just in globally in 2025, 1 billion women globally just this year are going to reach menopause. And menopause is just one day in a woman's life. One day. Because it is defined by 1 year of a woman no longer having a menstrual cycle. And it starts with perimenopause, which is 7 to 10 years that leads up to that one day. And so her hormones are going through chaos during that 7 to 10 years. And then once we hit that one day, then it's post-menopause, and we're post-menopausal for the rest of our life. But we go through at least anywhere from 20, we could go up to 30 different symptoms during that period. And then some of them will carry over. And so a lot of women will experience, and everyone's different, everyone's recipe is different, but many women will have changes in their weight, so they're not as confident. A lot of women will go through brain fog. Women that maybe have never had mood disorder, depression, anxiety, ADHD, will all of a sudden now have this. And you may say, who is this person? I don't even recognize her. And she doesn't recognize herself. So I would say understanding, giving her, that woman, a space to talk about it, helping her with finding her own recipe, whether that's food, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, whether it's getting out in nature, whether it is extra sleep, supplementation, activation of their own internal body cells. whatever that is, that you help her walk alongside her to explore that with patience, compassion, and kindness. Many women in this time will actually quit their jobs. Even if they've been successful, 1 in 4 women will quit their corporate job because they no longer feel validated. They don't feel like they are able to manage their symptoms enough to be, successful at their career. And so they lose their confidence and they will actually leave their job. So we want to help them be able and support them at home, in the community and in our workplace so that they can thrive. Maybe it is giving them some flexible hours at work, access to coaching. I don't know. So many people feel it's a weakness to ask for help.
Yeah.
And, I, as a coach, I say the opposite. It is the strongest thing of self-love to give back to yourself, to get the coaching, the help that you need, and that you know that you're not going crazy, and learn tools. I always try to teach women to build their own sparkly toolbox. And everybody's toolbox has different tools in it. We need to find what's the ones that you need, and put them in there and learn how to use them. Dust them off.
No,
Okay.
I think you're, Joseph, I don't mean to cut you off. I think that what you mentioned, well, first of all, the stats that you shared, was astonishing to me. But most of the things that you've said, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, resonate, at least with me personally. And the last part of what you talked about 1 in 4 women quit their corporate job because, the confidence thing, that really bothers me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph, I'm not.
Yes, I was actually going to touch on that 1 in 4 women because I've never heard that stat, and it's a very large percentage, 25%. You're saying 25% of women quit their jobs during this period of time. So my question, I guess, on that point is there an education process within corporate America or HR, because you hear coaching, you think, okay, I'm an individual, I need some help, I'm struggling, I'll go reach out to a coach. But are there coaches working with HR departments or corporate America to try to enlighten management about these issues so that they can be more aware and be more supportive of people who need that during this time?
Right. So that some corporate, something else that I do is I work with a company and we host wellness workshops for corporate America to bring to their employees. And so we touch on different subjects and give different tools so that it brings that education to the forefront for the because the company wants to keep their employees and they want them to be healthy and they want them to feel valued. And so, yes, there's definitely we're seeing more and more of that. But here's another statistic. 73% of women do not treat their symptoms because they're told it's just aging and it's all in your head. 73% of women
As at
do
what
not
point
treat.
in time?
So women
because
are.
I think people have become more aware of the science, right? They've become more aware of the.
Correct. So they are getting more aware, but unfortunately, our healthcare providers are not getting the schooling and the training to treat women for menopause, perimenopause. And so they are told, like I was told, I'm going crazy. You're just aging. They want literally sleeping pills and antidepressants. That's what I was given. And it's still happening. And so
and hormones, right? They love pushing hormones.
No, that wasn't even offered. And hormone replacement therapy or menopause hormone therapy is absolutely saving. It's a game changer for so many women. And there's no more stigma about it. And there's more science about it that is helping women stay in the workforce, being productive, getting over symptoms, healthier in their cardiovascular system, healthier in their brain, healthier in their urogenital system, healthier in their joints, and being productive. So it is something that you need to find a qualified, trained professional. If you go to menopausesociety.org, there's a list that you can find that are fully trained, newly certified to help women. So that's someplace that I would always recommend. But I think we need to normalize the conversation. And that we can easily talk about puberty and we can easily talk about pregnancy, but for some reason there's still this taboo about this is a third of our life, and we're still like embarrassed to talk about it, and it's shameful, and it means menopause means we are aging, but yet we don't want to admit that, and because it's this social cultural thing. So that's why we need to have these conversations, and so that we talk about pro living, even though we're going through these transitions in life. I also say that we need to educate, like my daughter, and educate the younger generation about what's coming up, and so that they that advocate education in schools.
Right. It's basically before you even get there, you should know what's coming, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we need to start doing that more.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, again, I love that you've lifted this up. We've had other guests touch upon this topic, but not drill down as much as you have drilled down on it. I also heard many good ideas and suggestions for new habits that women can do to take better care of themselves.
Absolutely.
But really, you've just scratched the surface, Kerry, with this conversation. So as you think about what would you like, ideally, our listeners to take away from, what are the highlights for you that you want to have our listeners remember from our conversation today?
Well, instead of asking, how do I stay young? How do I stay strong, clear, fulfilled, happy, purposeful? And that shift, right? It's a generational, especially for women. Stop playing the judgment game and what I call comparinitis, right? We get on social media and we compare. And then we feel less than in our self-worth. And so, but I would say, start with loving yourself first and start small. Start with one area of your mind, body, heart that is needing more attention, which takes you to pause, to breathe, reflect, take a breath. I love to journal, but you can put it in, put it into your phone as an audio, put it into your notes. Look for some patterns that might be happening, whether it's within your body. A lot of women don't even take the time to listen to what their body is trying to tell them, but also listen to what your heart is trying to tell you. Listen to what your mind is trying to tell you. Are you really happy? When was the last time you played, was silly, you laughed, like belly laugh, till like the tears are coming out of your eyes? We need more of that. Do you have enough, are you nurturing like I find girlfriends are vital to my mental health and my joy and my being. Do you nurture that? Are you nurturing your relationships? And even whether it's your spouse, we tend to sometimes, right, we start going away, finding the time to reconnect. And maybe that you find that thing that you both like to do that you both did when you were younger, or you just find something new that you can discover. A lot of people they're doing pickleball together and they've never done that before, or they're taking cooking classes together because they want to learn to make healthy food together, or, they're kayaking together and they're laughing and whatever it might be. Or like you say, you're now in the stack generation, right? So
see, it's going to stick. It's going to stick.
It's going to stick. I'm going to use it. And that you're also helping raise grandchildren and carving out time for yourself without guilt is key. Women mostly have guilt about not nurturing somebody else first before nurturing themselves. And I have learned, for me to be the best mother, partner, friend, worker, coach, I have to put me on the top of my to-do list. Otherwise, nothing else happens. And it's not anymore with guilt. It's with pride and self-love that I do. So,
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me, Kerry. And again, I think you've scratched the surface in many instances, especially around the menopause, which I really wanted to integrate that into our conversation.
mhm.
We always ask our guests one final question. And so I'm going to ask you. You've explained your background, which is tremendous. You've done a lot of different things in your life, been transformational yourself. But why do you get up every day and do what you do? What's your why?
I love that. And doesn't our whys change, right?
Oh, I agree with that. Yes,
And
100%.
our whys change. And for now, for me, is to I've always been a person that loves to give back, and to step forward in my own light, and to lift up and to shine a light onto somebody else to help them be the best that they could be. I worked in the nonprofit arena, and it wasn't ever about me. It was about giving a voice to the mission, to the people that it was serving, to advocate on behalf of them, to legislate for them, or to earn a grant to help supply them with things that they needed. So it always came back to being of service. But now I find, as I'm reaching women, it's impacting their life so profoundly that I hear, oh my God, that dream is still possible for me. I can lose that 50 pounds that I have been carrying, and I can empty that backpack of all the shame, the guilt, the trauma, that I have been carrying for years. And I can then give back to myself in a way that I never have, and live the life and live fulfilling those dreams that I never thought possible. So it's about education, but for me, it's also about empowerment. And that's why I've nicknamed myself the midlife mentor and motivator. So mentor, because I'm higher than you. I want to walk alongside you because I am you, but I also want to motivate you to believe in yourself so that you can step out your comfort zone, that you can be an advocate for yourself, and that you can be that best version of yourself today for all your good tomorrows. Because the world needs their light. We need each other's light to be shining and the best beacon that we can be. And it starts with us believing in ourselves and then having those tools, finding our own recipe. We're going to all be baking a different cake. We all like different flavors. There's always different things that go in there, right? They're going to sprinkle in there. And we have to find what those are and then use them consistently, so that we can move ourselves through our midlife and beyond. So we can have a wonderful retirement and do those things and live those dreams and goals, whatever they might be.
No, I love that. And I really appreciate you coming on Prime Life Podcast. It's been wonderful having you on, Kerry. If individuals are interested in learning more about what you do, what is the best way?
Well, I'm on multiple platforms. I would say I do have a Facebook group that a lot of women will join, and we commiserate, and sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry, we learn. So people can find me there at Fabulously Balancing Midlife. I am on Instagram at KB Consulting CT, and CT is for Connecticut. Or they can email me directly at kbconsultingct@gmail.com.
That's
And
great.
I would love, I did put up, and I gave your audience 14 empowering takeaways from today that they can incorporate. I will also put that in on my Instagram. If they don't get it here, they can get it there for free. But yeah, it just takes you believing in yourself. If you want some one-on-one coaching, heart-centered, kind, but with science behind it and accountability, I would love to just have a conversation what that might look like.
That's great. We will put everything in the show notes. So we will have those links. We will have your different social accounts. So individuals don't have to write down what you're saying. So it'll all be right there. For our listeners, we really appreciate you joining us. Every Tuesday is when I launch the podcast on the Prime Life podcast. Our topic is always around longevity, living longer, living better. Please spread the word. We're on Spotify, Apple, Google. We're there. Like us, share us with your friends, give us feedback. And we look forward to being with you again on another episode of the Prime Life podcast. Thank you so much. And Kerry, thank you again for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
Remember to subscribe to the Prime Life podcast anywhere you find podcasts. You can find all of our episodes, contact information, and more on our website, primelifepodcast.com. Stay connected with us. Follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.